Harold, when you say that we have a fire danger season, what exactly do you mean?
Well, generally we consider in Alabama our fire danger runs from about October 1st until the 1st of April in central Alabama, 1st of May up in North Alabama. And during this period we have a cured or a dried condition in the forest fuels. And this, with weather conditions, adds up to what we call a fire danger.
Harold, how bad is the fire danger in Alabama compared with, say, the woodlands of the West?
Well, we have somewhat different fuel types here in Alabama, somewhat different terrain conditions. But as far as actual explosive or actual potential for danger, it is very high. In fact, compared to out west, it could be very great. Their major factor out there being terrain, say in Los Angeles area, where it is so steep that they cannot get in and control as fast as we can here in the coastal plain in the Piedmont areas.
But things burn here just as badly as they do out there.
Very definitely. We have a high fire danger here during the fire season, depending on what the weather is. And during this past fire season, we've had a particular problem with lack of rainfall, low humidity, and some relatively high winds.
How bad is it during the fire danger period?
Well, during the fire danger period, we take a look at the weather conditions, and if it adds up to a low humidity, say below 40%, and a wind speed running from 10 miles an hour on up, it can get pretty bad.
How many fires will you have on a given day or during a given fire danger period?
Well, we try to base most of our statistics on a monthly basis. In the month of January, in Montgomery County, we had 20 fires, which was 2 more than we had all last year. And in the month of February, we've had 38 fires, which more than surpasses what we've had all in the previous year.
So in other words, this past year was worse than you've ever had?
That's correct. I believe the month of February is one of the 7 driest Februaries we've had since they've started taking weather statistics.
Do you attribute the fact that you had more fires this year to greater carelessness or simply worse climatological conditions?
Probably a number of factors have come into it. One is we have not had a bad fire season for a number of years up until now, and this has allowed forest fuels to build up and in turn dry out on the ground. Plus, in fact, people who were used to burning outdoor rubbish and were used to controlling their fires have somewhat gotten a little bit careless with it, not taking the precautions necessary, and between debris burning and arson, they make up over 90% of our whole fire problem.
On one given day, I believe it was in February of this year, all the fires that occurred were due to arson. Is arson becoming that big a problem?
Well, this has become a real bad problem, particularly when you have spite cases, one neighbor against another. There have been some cases where local people who have hunted on acreage previously and it's been taken over under different ownerships or leases, they try to seek revenge, and this has become a bad problem, particularly in a few of the central counties such as Macon, Bullock, and Russell.
Do you have a staff that's great enough to fight the fires that exist and to keep tabs on wildfire?
As far as keeping tabs on wildfire, it is adequate. We have both tower surveillance, which is the traditional method, and aircraft surveillance, and they report these to our central dispatch headquarters. However, on the ground, our staff is becoming somewhat inadequate. In other words, if we have 2 or more fires going at that time, we have already committed all of our units, and until one unit can finish up on a fire and go on to the next, and we're seriously undermanned.
Could voluntarism be a help in this factor?
This is definitely so. Through the Rural Community Fire Protection Program, which the Forestry Commission, the Forest Service, and other interested agencies, we have started rural fire defense units with local citizens, and this allows us to help them in starting volunteer fire departments and get fire protection for an area that was previously without any fire protection, whether brush or structure firefighting, that is locally. The Forestry Commission still maintains the responsibility for the wildfires, but it stands to reason that if that small fire department can get to the fire while it's small, it takes a lot of the headaches off of our backs.
And right now you're busily getting ready for the next fire danger season.
That's correct. It's an ongoing process. As soon as one's over, there's not much time to breathe because we have equipment to get back into shape, trucks to paint, tractors to grease up, and get ready, because we have to stay ready year-round for fires. If we have a dry period at any time of the year, we can expect forest fires to start blooming out again, even though the severity may not be as great as during our standard fire season.